I'm very glad you have that. Yeah, they got it all here.
1, 2, 1, 2, I don't care! Oh yeah! Oh yeah tonight! Oh yeah! Oh yeah yeah! Oh yeah tonight! Oh yeah tonight!
I'm Kyle Gordon. I'm a comedian and musician here in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm here with my band Mojohand, and we're going to be playing at Metro tonight, and we're going to be looking at some movies. I definitely had this exact box set when I was young. I just remember my dad like really dying laughing. And my dad he has an interesting taste, and like he's a pretty serious intellectual guy, but his comedy taste is amazing in that it's very, very, very stupid. And so I think I hold that duality a little bit myself. I'm not proud to admit it, but in high school I was like really obsessed with this movie, and I would watch the director's commentary version multiple times of this, and I know it makes me seem completely demented. I've only seen one Mike Leigh movie, and I can't remember which one it was, but yes, there it is. Yes, there it is. Okay, meantime, good, we found it. I knew, yeah. When Damien Albarn like studied to pretend to be, he was like a working class Cockney guy, he would just watch a bunch of Mike Leigh movies, and that's how he learned to pretend to be Cockney. And so yeah, he was like a huge fan of Mike Leigh, and so I saw this, and this was great, and then I need to watch more Mike Leigh movies. Yeah, finally, I know this is like a super classic, but I only finally saw it recently, and it's beautiful. It was a really fun watch. Yeah, there's a lot of heart in this movie, actually. Well, I guess I could talk about Rudy. This era and this type of movie I really aggressively grew up on. This is obviously not a baseball movie, but I call this like genre of like 80s and 90s, end of history, fall of the Berlin Wall era, like baseball nostalgia porn movies, which I just find like really hilarious and so of its time. I do a lot of characters in my own comedy that is very much based on Rudy, just the like, if you believe in yourself, there's nothing you can't do. Like that energy very much comes from repeat watchings of Rudy. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. I am so pumped you have this. This is a movie that I really grew up on and no one has seen. I would say 80% of the sketches on here are the funniest thing you've ever seen. I've wanted to do stuff about like parodying like 50s B sci-fi movies, but I've stayed away from it because this movie does it better than any comedy ever. The title of the movie, Amazon Women on the Moon, comes from this one sketch that's like a parody of a, shitty, low budget 50s B sci-fi movie. And it's flawless. It's flawless.
Is it all right that I was in the back of that the whole time?
Okay. Me and my brother watched a lot of Ernest growing up. I also have very little recollection of it. We were looking back, remembering all the different Ernests, and we were like, oh, dear God, why did Ernest go to Africa? Please. And we recently rewatched it. He doesn't even go to Africa. He goes to India. He doesn't go to Africa. Jim Varney is genuinely one of the great comedic talents of the 20th century. Say what you will about Ernest. I think they're great. Should he have gone to Africa? You tell me. But he is a comedic genius. Yeah, it's a great movie. Probably my favorite Albert Brooks movie. The lesson of this movie is don't be a pussy, actually, is the point of life. But he's not wrong, essentially. Big movie with me and my family. Well, this was also like a big end of high school movie. It's a 90-minute music video, but it looks fucking awesome. Yeah, you see DMX's in that too. I've seen this movie also a million times. My friend Jonathan Van Halem, who's a great stand-up, has a great bit about, you went to public school if you've seen The Patriot, because anytime your teacher was like hungover or you had a substitute, they would just put this movie on. And it's wildly inaccurate when it comes to actually representing what happened in the Revolutionary War. I haven't seen it in a long time, but definitely had this on DVD when I was younger and loved it. This movie is when I realized that or first saw the visual representation of how in the Revolutionary War you're in open field and you just have to shoot at the other guy, and when you're done, you have to stand there and wait for them to fucking kill you. So recently rewatched this movie, one of my favorite movies. A lot of the phrases from this movie have entered my like daily vocabulary. Also, as someone who came up doing, I wasn't really a stand-up comedian, I did more improv comedy. There's actually a improv form that is based on the structure of this movie, just where it goes from scene to scene and there's no real narrative coherence. Not to get into improv nerdy shit, fuck improv. No one cares about improv. The Ramones are my favorite band. This is one of my favorite movies. Yeah, the Ramones performance in this is like solidifies why they're the best. I mean, the whole point of the Ramones is watching, you know, a hideously ugly guy gain his confidence. That's sort of the entire arc of the Ramones and one of the many, many reasons why I love them. But this movie is flawless. I love this movie. Okay, this is one of my all-time favorite documentaries, let alone music documentaries. It has this cool thing of, it looks like it was sort of shot like on a DV camera and they're just like hanging out. I think the narrative is fairly contrived. There's a scene in this movie where they're interviewing the Dandy Warhols and they all admit that their parents aren't divorced, and that's like presented as though like, I can't believe you admitted that! Your parents aren't divorced! Wow! And you play rock music? But, I mean, it did introduce me to the Brian Jonestown Massacre, who are genuinely a fantastic band. All right, so these are the 3 movies that I rented. You'll start to notice a theme. They're all by my favorite director, Christopher Guest. First one is a nice intro, Waiting for Guffman. It's, not, spoiler alert for Waiting for Guffman. Guffman doesn't show up, but they put on a play in a small town, and Christopher Guest's character of Corky St. Clair is one of his most quotable, so that's a good one to start with. Then Best in Show. This is probably the most like technically flawless. All these are mockumentaries if you don't know Christopher Guest, but I feel like this is like the culmination of his like style perfectly. It's about a dog show, and like every character in this movie is amazing, and it's like all of his best people being great. And then my all-time favorite movie, literally my favorite movie of all time, A Mighty Wind, because this is, I think this is better than Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap is obviously, you know, the most influential, but like this movie is just top to bottom incredible. And Fred Willard's monologue, first monologue in this movie is probably one of the great comedic performances of all time. It's completely improvised. Every second of everything he says in that movie is incredible. So, Mighty Wind. I love to show these movies to people. If you like any of these movies, we'll get along.
My mom and dad will never die.